it's not just necessarily getting dumber, it's becoming more isolated. We already know all the stuff that it has access to. So what they're doing now is trying to label the data better. But again, you get a lot of diminishing returns. Right? There's only
Yeah.
so much you can do with.
Welcome to Fire Talks by Tech Wing Bites. I'm Clint. I've built software, led teams, and now a founder, helping builders who are ready to make the leap but can't quite see the path yet. Every episode is one conversation closer to clarity on ownership, execution, and momentum.
I don't have any planned agenda, but I did want it to. It's about tech, right? We'll talk about
Right.
AI, but there's some AI trends I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
so we can dive into that. Like that's
Yeah.
the only thing I have on top of my mind. What did you have?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the whole free form thing.
Yeah,
So as you kind of get into whatever,
yeah,
wherever that path goes, that's what we can talk about. I didn't
exactly.
have anything real specific that I wanted to talk about. I mean, I know I've been working with some AI recently that's been helping me immensely as far as like the speed at which I can do things.
Hmm.
Is because before some of the things I'm thinking about, like the specific thing I'm thinking about right now is I'm converting from a Flash template to a React, um,
Hmm.
shipping a React app essentially. And I know React at a base level, right? So I know if I was going to be doing this myself, it would take me quite a bit of time to get up caught up to speed on my JavaScript, right? Because it's been a while,
Right.
and just React in general. With this, I was able to do not a full on conversion. 'Cause I still got some things to do, but my biggest two issues that I knew I was thinking about that I was going to have to do,
Hmm.
and I'm done in 2 days. What I know before it took me like at least 2 weeks.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's been great for me.
That's cool, man. I'm so excited to get into it. I know for
Mhm.
2026, I'm gonna be hands on doing some coding. I told you about that app I wanted to create. So
Yeah.
uh, React. So React is powerful from what I've researched and
Mhm.
observed. I haven't really coded in it. I'm more of an Angular guy,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right? But Angular has transformed into its own kind of
Yeah.
metamorphosis.
It's its own little beast. Yeah, it's own little beast at this point.
I think if I'm diving into it, I'm definitely diving into React and Python, right? But
Yeah.
Node.js is still going to be in the heart, so
That's it.
I'm
Right.
still get into that one too.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about. I'm just talking. This is recently, right?
Yeah.
This happened to me twice. One with Gemini
Okay.
and one with Chat GPT.
All right.
Right? With Chat GPT, I have a sense like I use it so often for
Mhm.
like various stuff, like to bounce ideas, to research, and the response has a feeling. You like when you
Mhm.
get to know someone, it's like, yo, they would say this, you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they would say that. You know what I mean? Like you kind of get
Yeah.
that feeling. This is AI, clearly not the same, but we
Mhm.
do know that AI is replicating personalities. So if the
Yes.
personality change,
Yeah.
you kind of feel it.
Right.
So I'm chatting, I'm going back and forth. And then recently I'm like, why you sound like you're trying to be my cool buddy friend? That's different. This is
Yeah.
the same chat I've been using for the last 2 weeks. Why is it
Mhm.
different? And I looked up to realize that they upgraded it
Yeah.
from
Upgraded them.
OpenAI
Mhm.
5.0 to 5.1, and
1.
they changed it. I looked it up and they're like, yeah, we have 5 personality types. But every time they do that, it
Mhm.
actually, I feel, makes it more dumb
Mhm.
according to my
Right.
perception. More
Right.
dumb because I feel like it's filtering more information back to me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I see what you're
So
saying. Yeah.
like more guardrails. You
Yeah.
know, like okay, can you
Which,
can't say that
to
in
be
that,
fair, to be fair, needed. But yeah, I
yes.
think one of those things is, um, I was really messing around with. It's funny. I stepped away from ChatGPT for a little bit.
Hmm.
Actually, I think this week is probably the first time I got back to it in about probably like in over a month.
Hmm.
And I did notice there's a little bit of some personality quirks that comes along with it. And it's funny because some of the personality that is luckily since I'm not asking more open-ended questions, I'm asking more questions that are like really strictly related to code.
Yeah.
It's giving me more code-based things, right? So it's giving me, it's giving me essentially the facts
Yeah.
for the most part. There's some things where I know it's not right, or
Yeah.
at least I know there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
So, and that's when that little back and forth occurs. And it's like, I was like,
That
well, you
part.
don't really want to go down this. Uh, it'll examine something that's something I asked for. And
Mhm.
then I go back and I review it. I'm like, one is not quite what I asked for. So let's kind of go back and like, you know,
Mhm.
rework the prompt a little bit.
Yeah.
And from that prompt, it comes back with something new. And it's like, okay, that will work, but I'm trying to make this like production grade. So
Yeah.
I don't need you to go and, I need you to think about caching, right? I need you to think about, a lot of some of these other things, so some not full on optimizations, because
Mhm.
obviously that's a real deep dive, but I need some basic optimizations here, here,
Right.
because I want this to go out into the world, and as it is, it'll work for if it'll work for a demo, right?
Right.
If I'm showing to one person, but once I start hitting 10, 15 people, there's going to be a little bit of slowdown. So I started working with it, making some cloud tasks. So just to kind of do some things where it's not so basically essentially my version of a queue of a as a message queue
Yep. Yep.
essentially. And you know, it finally got what I was trying to do. So after that, it was a lot smoother. But again, it's going to give you at the base level. When you start off with it, it's going to give you at the base level, which is
Yeah.
why I started learning about skills, right? Because I
Yeah.
can just upload the idea, like not the ideas, but upload the type of skills and what I wanted to really think about when it's actually going to return. And I learned that from Claude. There's something like Claude skills, right?
Mhm.
So, and there's a repo out there. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go back and look it up, but it's a whole essentially markdown files. There's a lot of markdown files which
Right.
will tell you this is what the setup is. This is how I want you to actually respond to me, and
How big
this
is
is
that
my
repo?
style. Huh?
How
How
big is
big
that?
is that repo? It gives you basics. So the repo itself. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
That's interesting. Like I was thinking you would need to so for me, because I ask it so many things,
Hmm.
it's trying to put me in a personality category. Like you're a
Yeah.
coder, you're a writer,
Right.
like trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But this like I was thinking, upload the personality you want, or say I want you to be this and that. But the
Hmm.
skills seems a lot better, right? You can say, hey,
Yeah.
this
So,
is who you're gonna be, and here's the
yeah.
content of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, yeah. Let me just put it in. I just found it. It's called Cloud. Yeah, Claude. It's Claude. Sorry,
Uh,
Claude Code Infrastructure Showcase. So somebody spent quite a few months
yeah.
on this, and
Yeah.
what they ended up doing was creating an infrastructure that anybody can follow. Because I basically use this as a baseline, and for my code base, and I was able to. You can now you can kind of spin out like some specialized agents. You can do a lot of different skills. They focused on using hooks, which is fine.
Hmm.
Um, I think you can. I mean, I could do it that way too, but I stayed away from hooks just because I didn't necessarily want to uh, embed myself all the way with Claude. Right? I want to be able to kind of use it for other things, and so it was, but I think if you're all in with Anthropic, then I think it's a good idea to just go with how they're doing it.
This
I'm
is
not all in with Anthropic. I kind of bounce around because I feel there are each one of them has their own flavor, and not just flavor, it also has a better answers depending on what the questions you're asking. So you kind of
mhm.
have to learn that too. And but yeah, so far I mean, I think Anthropic is really good with the coding portion of it. I haven't really played around with what's the other one? Cursor? Yeah, I haven't played around with Cursor yet, but
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I'll get around to it.
yeah. One of the other guys that came the last time, he
Mhm.
definitely is in that space a lot. This
Yes.
is great, man. You keep
Mhm.
them on a track instead of just rando convo. You just
Yes.
get rando back.
Yes. Yeah, you load it up, and the hooks are good if you don't want to, if you don't feel like having to load it every time,
Hmm.
which is good. But for me, I have very specific things at different times, so I don't necessarily need hooks for everything. There's very
Hmm.
specific sections of the code that I need something specific for right now. I'll load that one up, and then next
This,
question.
I love this concept.
Hmm.
This there got to be a ton of MD repos
Hmm.
building AI context because
Hmm.
I can read the internet, get confused of your intent, like you've been
Yes.
explaining, and give you crap back. But this is
Mhm.
smart. Like I
Yeah.
love this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I found out about this about a month ago, maybe a month and a half. Yeah, it was the beginning of November. So about a month and a half, yeah. And yeah, I was
Nice.
just going with it, and it's been awesome, honestly.
This, so like you would say you have less issues with it doing what you expect.
Yes. Now, that's not to say I don't have any issues, but um when I because I morph my code depending on what I've learned over the week or two. So if you're staying very rigid with it,
Hmm.
then it's fine. But if you realize, okay, this might be a better way, if you research something, so I realize this might be a better way. Like the example I was giving before with the cloud tasks, right? So at first, I went with I was doing it in Python, so I went with some multi-threading as an initial concept, and
Hmm.
I built out the skill with that in mind.
Right.
Now, as I got a little bit deeper in it, I realized no, multi-threading is just not. It's not going to work for this system.
Right.
And now I have to go back and redo the skill because if I load that or make a new skill, really, I'll
Right.
probably just make a new skill, just throw that old one away.
Yeah.
But now that I have this new way of doing it using the Google Cloud Tasks,
Yeah.
it's it I have to kind of make sure that it understands that. Now, I will say Cloud has been really good with being able to understand my code from the standpoint that it remembers the context. It actually has a wide enough context window
Uh-huh.
that it remembers what it is I'm doing or what I've done in the past, at least for the past weekish or so.
Mm.
So I don't necessarily have to load. I actually don't have to load as much as I used to. Like
Right.
early on, I had to load a lot,
Right.
but
When you say
it's
code or not, because I know almost all of these platforms has it. I just haven't done
mhm,
it to that
yeah,
extent. Maybe I do one or two files. When you say
mhm.
load a lot, you're talking about taking these MD
The
files,
skills, yes,
right,
yeah,
and
right,
kind of say, okay, I'm about to do this new chat, and I'm gonna load up all of these things that I want you
right.
to be part
Right,
of.
to be right, to know, to want you to be aware of them. So, for example, like I have I've been messing around with ngrok as far as being able to host my uh, my dev environment on the web, right? So that I don't have to. So that way I can have someone else take a look at it and tell me what it is, as opposed as if they see any bugs or anything like that, right?
Eh,
So I don't necessarily have to if I'm if I'm working on my local environment, I can actually send you my ngrok ID. I mean not ID, URL. Send that
mhm.
to you, and you can see exactly what it is I'm working on, like at this very moment.
Right.
Yeah, see it live, and you can test it out, and I'll be able to see locally what you're doing. I because I have my logs running, and
Wait.
so
What what platform is this?
this is a ngrok. So ngrok is basically a way to
I might.
host
Oh,
yeah,
but people.
host your stuff on the web, host local environments. I use it to host local environments on the web. You can use it to host whatever you want on the web.
I was there's one similar to that I've used before.
Mhm.
This is called Replit.
Yeah, Replit. Yeah, I know Replit.
Yeah. Okay. So similar to Replit.
Yeah, similar. Replit is a more all-in-one type
Okay.
deal,
Okay.
whereas this is strictly so basically I run my local environment. I terminal a separate terminal. I run my ngrok
Hmm.
hosting the port, the same, so it's running on the same port as my local environment.
Yeah.
And now I have it'll generate an ID, it'll generate a URL, HTTPS URL at that. And I can share that URL with you, and now you can see my hosted website and the stuff that I'm working on directly. So
That's powerful.
Replit, yeah. So Replit is more, from what I've seen, it it's collaborative. Like,
Hmm.
so you have stuff in the, like, you can just share windows and stuff like that. So this, what I'm talking about isn't really collaborative, but you can, like I said, you have a bit more power, more options. Because from what I've seen on Replit, I think Replit is mostly almost all JavaScript, right? I don't
Most
think I've
I've
seen,
used it for only JavaScript. Well,
yeah,
no
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen other languages. Now, that's not to say they don't have it. That's
Right.
just haven't seen it.
Mm.
But since my back end is right now Flask, which again I might update to something else, but right now my back end is Flask, right? So I didn't want to have to try and figure out how to do Flask in Replit when I could just host, just use ngrok, spin up a ngrok tunnel essentially, and have it be shared on the web. So it
So,
was basically real simple.
question about that.
Yeah.
You have to share the link, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You have to share the link
Is it
to.
anyone has the link, or is it attached to this email?
Okay. Yeah. So okay, this is how I've done it.
Right.
I have a ngrok account. It's a
Uh,
free account. So on the free account, you only get one URL essentially, one, or at least one session,
okay.
right, that you can run at a time.
Right.
I came up with a name that most people would not know or use. It's kind of like a combination of words,
Yeah.
right? So, but it's so because if I don't do that, ngrok will create a URL for me, right?
Okay.
And I have to, and then at that point, I will have to always copy that, put it in my environment, and then run it over and over again, right? So every time I spin up a new session in ngrok, I have to copy that new URL, and now I have to copy that over to my environment file, rerun it, restart the dev server, and all that stuff.
Right.
By giving it a very specific name,
Hmm.
like, and it's long, so I don't. Yeah.
Well,
It,
nobody
and,
can guess your URL, but
right. No.
does ngrok allow their users to search for available repositories? I assume not, because
Well,
that's
yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it do that.
uh,
Now, again, that you're getting into way more hackerish type type deals right
well,
there, right?
that's what people do, right?
Right. No, yeah, that's which is yeah, which again is
Hmm.
perfectly viable. So
Hmm.
yes, I'm sure if you are inclined enough to do so,
Right.
the possibility is there. But
Gotcha.
I think from what I've seen, it's relatively secure.
Hmm.
So I don't think that they allow you to do searches like that. Now, you could this entirely possible. You can kind of like spam certain words and certain IDs, your URLs, and maybe you hit one.
Right.
Now, if I can take a look real quick, I think because my terminal, let's see, it gives me a version, gives me which account I'm using, but it's a free plan. So if it's basically forwarding things from the URL that it spawns. to my local. So I don't think it'll actually be that easy
Okay.
to run away to run searches for this.
This has nothing to do with Twitter grok, right? I'm just
No,
curious.
no, 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 no. It has
All
nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with it.
right.
This came way before,
Okay.
way before Twitter Grok. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think this spawn like Grok. I mean, obviously, the whole Grok thing spawns from what's that book? Strange something. A Strange Land. Oh,
Uh,
it's
is
a
it?
it's a it's a it's a Robert Heinlein book. It's a sci-fi book.
Uh,
Um, it's I know it because my
that's
brother.
good.
I'm speaking of sci-fi, so my brother gave me that book probably like 20 years ago. I mean, the book is probably like 40, 50 years old at this point. Matter of fact, I think I had. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, Stranger in a Strange Land. So
Stranger,
yeah,
strange.
yeah, that's the book.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole term grok kind of came from this book.
uh,
So anytime you hear it, just know that that's the origin.
I might have to go take a deep dive into this book.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting. It's sci-fi,
It's sci-fi, yeah.
but it
So
sounds like it's throwing some knowledge out there.
yeah, so grok essentially is a deep level of understanding.
Mm.
That's to
And,
to put it
and
into real
it's,
terms. To
it's
put it into real terms, it's a like a deep not just philosophical, almost like a spiritual level of understanding of
right,
a thing.
right.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna add that to my list. That's
yeah,
stuff. Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're really using the hell out of this thing. I am so behind.
Hey,
Look,
man,
but I'm
look.
still stuck arguing, right? And it's
Uh,
giving me dumb responses, right?
uh,
I want to switch. I do use Claude. I want to
yeah.
do Claude Code and Cursor, so I'm on the same
Mhm.
path.
Yeah.
I do use Gemini for general things, but
Uh-huh.
they just released like a really good model. So I was like, well, let me give it some thinking tasks.
Yeah.
You would believe what happened?
Oh, cool.
Start talking to me in Japanese. And when I asked it to translate it, it said,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what you're talking about. You start talking Japanese. I said, no,
Wow.
I had to copy the Japanese,
Yeah.
put it in Open AI Chat GPT,
Uh-huh.
and translation was explaining to me how to pronounce A in
Yeah.
Japanese. And I'm like, what? I guess
Mhm.
when because I was doing a verbal conversation.
Right.
So, if you pause too long, then it tries to respond. So I'm trying to like
Yeah.
hurry my
Right.
speech and I use the, filler words. And
Yeah. I got
confuse.
you.
That's
Right.
what I'm assuming happened.
Yeah,
Right.
probably, because I think that is one of the things that I've noticed with like these speech, these when you're speaking to something, like,
Mhm.
unless it's always just listening until you give it a trigger end word or trigger end phrase or whatever, or
Yes. Yes.
action, it's going to assume a long enough pause is
Means
your end
that
of a sentence. Is like
yeah,
you finish your thought, and it's like for people like that, like you and me, like I
uh,
pause all the dang like I pause a lot.
yeah, yeah.
So
I got to think this through. I got to
right,
make
I
sure.
got to think. Yeah,
Right.
I think about it, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, sometimes that's in the middle of a thought or middle of a sentence,
Exactly.
or I get to the end of my what is it the guy that what they call it pregnant pause, like where it's like that pause to end something, it's kind of like birthing something else. Is
Yeah.
really just it's not the end. It's just kind of like the beginning of your next thought.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. Um, have you set up like MCP server and all that?
not yet, not yet. I mean, it's on my to-do list,
Yeah. That's what
but
but I need a powerful PC for that.
right.
Not, yeah.
Right. Yeah, like I'm not gonna run it on this. I'm not gonna run it on my Mac. Right. I need
No,
it.
well, we talked about it. We got the same old version
Yeah.
of Magnus
Right.
ready
Yeah.
to
Like
pop.
yeah. Like it's mine's like 5 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the.
That's why I'm logged in twice because so
Uh,
the screen is my Mac and this is my
mhm.
iPad.
Yeah.
If Google on there,
Mhm.
the whole thing started.
Right. Yeah. Once you have too much processing power, once too many things is going on,
Yeah,
it gets real slow. I have this my fan monitor, which that's how. So basically, it tells me when things are under a big load because I can watch and see when it's trying to cool off. So
yeah,
and that's 'cause it's my way of knowing it without having to go into utilities
yeah,
and seeing what the CPU load is. It's just a quick way of me knowing. I mean, I can hear it too, but
yeah, yeah.
then that'll give me an understanding idea as to what's that's about. But
It makes you wonder, like, what does it really take to run a good AI? I saw on TikTok the other day,
Mhm,
this guy, he was showing how he's running his not connected to the internet. He
mhm,
downloaded some of my models and he was
mhm,
training on his own.
mhm.
And but he had like several PCs, like three of them like connected to each other, kind of
Uh,
daisy. um, You
yeah,
know, hey, it's possible you can do it. I was like, dream,
yeah. I was saying, yeah, three PCs. I was like, okay.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but like I got a question for you. So I'm coming at it from like I'm still using it for social media stuff, for
Mhm.
improving workflows. For I'm using it for conversation and
Right.
thinking buddy. I'm using it for trends and problem solving and
Mhm.
troubleshooting. You're getting into the coding part of it, right?
Right.
Really trying to see how it responds. Here's where I am, and I want to ask you. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give you my answer, but I'm gonna ask you the question. Like, what do you think
Sure.
the state of AI is now? And from my point of view now, before I even get into coding,
Mhm.
it's I feel like it's getting dumber, or more technically, I feel like they're filtering it out more,
Mhm.
and they're giving the consumers, even paying consumers, less
Mhm.
because I want to feel like I'm not getting the answers. Like
Mhm.
in the beginning, I have that
Yeah.
there was a smaller context, it was more hallucination, made
Mhm.
sense. Now they've thrown way more infrastructure and
Mhm.
memory at it. So it's
Mhm.
like you expect it to do better. And I feel like we went through this wave where it was doing great. And
Mhm.
then you see the spike of all the generative AI images and videos, and it's like, oh, it's getting
Yeah.
better. AI's gonna take over. And then now I feel like it's slowing down, almost like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't know what else to do. We've given the MPC server, the RAG,
Mhm. Mhm.
the all the algorithms to kind of
Yeah.
keep contain it. And I feel like AI really hasn't grown. I feel like it's the same AI. They just add more
Mhm.
memory, more more context.
Yeah.
Hallucination is not solved, right?
Right. No.
And it's
Ah.
like, hey, we're better, better, better. But I'm like, we're not really better. You're just trying to put more and more algorithms. To me, RAG is an algorithm. The whole MPC server is a patch, is a band-aid. And any
Mhm.
other patterns you hear now is just more algorithms to say, hey,
Mhm.
oh, it's better. Look what it can do. Let me go into a popular program, say Adobe Illustrator, apply
Mhm.
AI, and it's like, whoa, look what AI can do. Well, hold up, AI was already doing that.
Doing the stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I feel
Yeah.
like they're taking more away. And even though you started hear about these agents, I feel like
Mhm.
more and more companies, those that can afford it anyway, is gonna
Mhm.
do like that guy on TikTok and create their own,
Mhm.
AI agent, but
Right.
disconnect from the internet,
Yeah.
fill it with their intellectual property context and data,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and they'll start to try to sell that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel like the big companies is pulling away, almost
Mhm.
like they're already doing that, and say, okay,
Mhm.
you normal guy, let me give you the watered down version.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So yeah, this is my take on that whole system, right? So there's a lot of things I think going on behind the scenes with
Yeah,
AI, just in general.
yeah,
There's the power concern and consumption,
yeah.
right? There's the fact that almost every AI company uses the same type of chip,
Yeah,
and
we're stepping up, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah, they're stepping up, but it's almost all Nvidia, right? It's
Mhm,
almost all
mhm.
Nvidia.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
It's not.
And yeah, right. So yeah, and Nvidia is well paid from that, right?
Mhm.
And honestly, I think it probably started with Bitcoin mining, because that's really when Nvidia started getting ridiculous amounts of cash flow, like
Yeah,
ridiculous amounts of cash flow, because
get my
all that
NAV.
stuff, yeah, yeah, all that mining occurred based on that, right?
Yeah.
All their money came based on the mining.
Mhm.
So with with Nvidia backing pretty much well, not every, but all the major ones, right? All the major AI companies, you
Mhm.
know, using the same chips, right? And it starts to become this little, it's an island, right? They have their own. It's almost its own island, and what I end up, I every time I look at it, it seems as if it's not just necessarily getting dumber; it's becoming more isolated,
Great.
right?
That's
And they're all so, and there's that law of diminishing returns, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
there's only so much. We already know all the stuff that it has access to. Right? Like they've already strip mined all the books and informations and all the stuff that they get it from its data. They're learning now, or at least what they're doing now is trying to get better ways to, I can't remember the term, but they're labeling. Sorry, yeah. So they're trying to label the data better. Again, you get a lot of diminishing returns. Like there's only
yeah.
so much you can do with. I mean, a head. What's a headphone, right? And, how many different ways can you explain and get to the headphone, right? And how many different sentences can you get to the word headphone and out of the word headphone, right? That's basically what LLMs are essentially, right?
Mhm.
So it's a ways to get to a word and out of, and what makes most sense coming out of that word, right? It's a very very intelligent Mad Libs generator, right? It sees words and it's like, okay, this is the most likely word that comes after that,
Yeah.
and